of this. So anyway, welcome. I am Lysandra Atkinson, better known as Lysandra Yvette, the owner and founder of Loving Touch Healing and Wellness, which operates out of Claremont, California. I'm a clairvoyant, claircognizant empath, and I practice spiritual healing, intuitive healing, really. But today, the spotlight is really all on the person, the woman of color that we're going to be talking with today. Her name is the dazzling and fabulous Danette Sheppard-Vaughn. And make no mistake, she is absolutely amazing. I want you to hear from her some words of wisdom and inspiration for what I'm going to be calling the dynamic women of color, bringing views of wellness to the table. Welcome, Danette. Why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's such an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you. As Lysandra stated, my name is Danette Sheppard-Vaughn, and I'm a professional singer and actress, among a million other jobs, like most of us women, right? And and I'm a mom and an entrepreneur, and I work from home doing administration and management for some clients that I have. So I was working at home long before COVID, so I wasn't impacted financially. Praise God, and I'm just happy to be here with all of you beautiful
Oh,
ladies.
oh, thank you. So, how do you define wellness, Danette?
Well, for me, it's being our best selves. It's being your best self, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All of the elements working cohesively together so that we can be at our best. And yeah, that's basically I would say.
Okay. And so, how do you, like incorporate wellness daily? Can you tell us a little bit what your routine looks like?
Well, sadly, I don't have a routine per se. I should, because I really am a person who loves organization, but I do regularly do acupuncture as part of my wellness. I'm a firm believer in Eastern medicine and prevention, and I've been doing acupuncture now for about 3 or 4 years. I love it. And it is good for anything that ails you. On top of that, I'm also a big, big, big CBD user and advocate. My entire family, my mom, even my 14-year-old daughter, uses a CBD nasal inhaler that I recently found that helps with stress and anxiety. And it's wonderful. So, those two things are definitely part of a regular routine, if you will, for me regarding wellness, along with, constant prayer and supplication. Because for me, without God, there's nothing, there's no wellness, there's nothing. So,
Absolutely.
so
Wow.
faith and, standing on that solid rock, that's probably at the top of the list of wellness, because if that's in order, then everything else will fall into place eventually.
Absolutely. That's very well said. Okay, so what do you think is important for women to care about when it comes to their own individual wellness? You talked about yours, but sometimes when we look at other people, we can see better and more clearly maybe what they need and have recommendations. And we don't often get a chance to share it. So this is a really clever way to be able to share some tips and insights on what you think individual wellness would look like if you want to tell
Yeah.
them.
Well, I really think it's important to take time for yourself and take care of yourself. I'm a firm believer that when you look good, you feel better no matter what's going on. So, a lot of people, because they may have lost jobs or they've been quarantined all of these months, have stopped, putting on a little lipstick, or have stopped, making have stopped making themselves glamorous. And, even though I've been in quarantine since March, like everybody else, but I am in school and I do, as I said, I do work from home. So there's meetings and various things like that. I put myself together because, even when the week has been terrible, the numbers are going up, deaths all around, and just the stresses of life. I just feel that when you look good, it just makes things a little bit better. So I really feel, ladies, that you should always take that time for yourself to, put on some hair if you're a wig wearer, or whatever your favorite color is, put on your outfit. Excuse my dog in the
Oh, it's
background.
okay. It's okay.
Put on, your favorite outfit. And, if you're a perfume lover like me, I love smelling good, mixing fragrances. That's always been a talent of mine. And so things like that, I think it's important. Whatever it is, if you love flowers, I think it's important to get yourself some flowers, even if they're the flowers from the little floral place at the supermarket. Just get you something so that you can feel good, each day, each week, whatever your regimen is going to be. But that's very, very important to do something, and to just make yourself feel good, look good. Very
And I
important.
will have to say, ever since I've known you, you have absolutely always done that. Yeah, I mean, without fail, without a hitch. And maybe, to be honest, it could be because you're in the entertainment business. So it comes naturally for you. But I believe what you're saying, that when you look good, you feel good, you project a better image of yourself. So you feel good about that image.
Exactly.
And when we think of our ancestors looking back, I mean, a lot of times, especially like in the 50s, they stayed picture ready.
Right.
We talk about how they used to be in the kitchen cooking with pearls and, these little decorative aprons on, and all of
Right.
that. And then, the little say-sos of when the husband would come home, don't let them see that you had rollers in your hair, and, everything came apart
Right.
while you was preparing the food.
Right.
But I love that. Let's bring it back to what we know that used to work for them.
Exactly.
They went through the depression and so much more. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm just a testament to the fact that you do live by what you're saying. Yeah.
Amen.
What's the most difficult part of your spiritual journey, would you say, so far?
Well, I mean, I guess for probably any human being, we're human, and so we feel things, and we hurt, and we get upset, and we get mad and frustrated, and all of these things. So I think the most challenging part for any human being is to, really cling solidly to the faith that's within you, even when the world seems like it is crashing completely all around you. And it's hard because we're human, but I believe that if you really are a person of faith, that you have to walk it like you talk it. And it's important to really pull and lean on that when things are all helter skelter. It's easy to have unwavering faith when everything's going wonderfully. But what the true testament, where God really knows that we mean what we say and we say what we mean, is that our actions, our words, the spirit, the light that radiates from us, it's radiating even when everything else is falling completely apart. Excuse me. So I don't struggle any more than any other human being. But I think that's a challenge that we all find, to be human in that moment, when things first happen, get upset, cry, whatever it is. But then you got to pull it back together. If you're a person of the faith that you say you have, you must pull it back together after you take your few minutes to be human and cry and scream and throw something or whatever. Then you must pull it back in and look to the Most High God that you say that you really believe in.
Oh, that was beautiful. That's, something I talk about, being firmly rooted, so you
Yeah,
don't feel like you're wavering, rooted in
exactly.
truth.
That.
But do you find that you had one pivotal moment that stands out more than other in your spiritual journey, or you feel like it's just been you
Yeah,
holding truth to that? Wow, that's good. That's amazing.
I can't say
Because
a
that's who
pivot.
you are. That's what that says to me.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been in church since I was, a preteen, and I've loved God my entire life, and so it's not hard to cling to that, especially when all else is lost. Because if you bet on humans, you're gonna be disappointed every time. So my hope has been and continues to be and will continue to be built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness, because humans will fail you. And many times they don't mean to, but they're humans and they will. Because
Oh,
sometimes
wow.
We look out for ourselves over others sometimes, and sometimes that's not always the best thing. But because of that, humans will fail you. So, I have to my anchor.
That's right. That's right. It's not of this realm.
Amen.
That's my favorite thing to say. And you're right about them, disappointing you, i.e., humans. I talk about that in one of my videos because that's why I do have trust issues that the Lord is working on me to improve upon. And that's my encouragement for, not just women of color, but women in general, because we do operate from a place of emotion. You
Yeah.
notice some guys can really get into it and have some scars, emotional scars, and they seem to be able to pivot and navigate through life a little bit more smoother than us because that's not their central place where they come from. That's where we come from. It's who we are at the core. The way God made us, our wiring is to come from like the heart chakra, from our sensitivities and from our emotions. So very
Mhm.
good. It is absolutely true to be rooted in that which is truth to you, whatever faith you practice. The important
Exactly.
thing is to have one. Is to have
Exactly.
one. Otherwise, you're just out there subject to whatever, and that's a dangerous place to be
Amen.
honest.
I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine.
Right.
Especially
So,
given the world
what you
today,
say?
everything going on. I said I can't even imagine not having that spiritual anchor that is unwavering, especially given the climate of today.
Right.
It's
Right.
happening over the world. You have to have something that gives you that bright light no matter what. You must find that for yourself. So if you don't have it, ladies, I really think for 2021, that should be high on your list of priorities. Finding something that really anchors you when everything else around you is sinking sand, honey.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And you look, you jumped the gun of the 2021, which it seems like right now people are afraid to even talk about next year, which that was a common thing we would start doing around about the holiday season is to start talking about looking forward and what we plan to do next year. And people are afraid to kind of do that because we're just in a really weird place right now. So thank you for casting that ray of hope towards
Yeah,
2021, telling women to get it together to firmly root into some type of faith or belief so that when the storms do come, you won't blow over, you won't fall down. You'll still be standing with
yeah,
that bright light shining. And
right.
that alone, if nothing else even can come out of your mouth, is a testimony in and of
Yes,
itself to just be
amen.
standing in that truth. I love that. So,
Amen.
okay, what new and different things have you done to manage or what have you learned that you apply to your faith and spirituality? Is there anything, let's just say in 2020, that made you say, oh, you know what, from this is something new and different, so I'm going to try this, or well, this used to work for me, but with these new energies in 2020 I learned that, well, this is kind of not good for me.
Um, I don't know if anything new has come about, but there has been like a reaffirmation, if you will, a strengthening of what always has been. As I said, I've been in church all my life, but life gets busy and we got work, we got this, we got that. And things come up and you don't find yourself being at church every Sunday the way I grew up and the way I know that when like-minded people are gathered in his name, he is there in the midst. Yes, he's everywhere, but it's even in a stronger realm when like-minded people are there or together, be it virtually like we're doing now or in the building together, giving honor and praise to him. It's a power that is unmatched. And so, due to COVID, my parents are both pastors of Bethel Baptist Church in St. Albans, Queens, New York. And because of COVID, service has been in the living room upstairs in the
Mhm.
house for these past 8 months. And because I'm a singer who has been designated the resident minister of music for all the services, me.
Wow,
So,
why not?
so I've had to
I
sing.
can't think of anybody better.
Thank you, honey. So I've had to sing the Sermonica selection each week. Some few weeks
Okay.
I brought guests in, but just being a part of Sunday service that was a part of my life. so regularly, and then, got off kilter due to work and due to, shows happening at concerts at the time, was various reasons. But, it's a real strengthening, this, being in this Sunday service through the phones, and through, thank God, through technology, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, blessing people, who probably ain't been to church in years, and they're watching the playback and stuff like that. So it's been a real affirmation, 2020, for me, just reaffirming that, this is my solid rock. And with God and through God, through Christ, all things are possible, and I can do anything and everything. And it's just helped to reaffirm that, because these last few years have been challenging for me, personal, family, medical issues, and, so many different things, outside of the challenges of COVID. And that's the only thing that's kept me still positive, still hopeful, still faithful, still with a light emanating, as opposed to the pity party that so many people, find themselves drug into when they don't have something bigger and brighter and bolder to cling to.
I love that. I love that. So, if I'm understanding you correctly, the new and different thing that you had to do is bring the worship into the home. And the home is really actually the sanctuary.
Man,
And if you think back in I would say probably post depression era, um, if you probably remember tent revivals, they
yes,
were outdoors anyway.
yeah,
We
yeah,
weren't in four walls, so to speak. And so to bring it home actually is a sense of intimacy that I'm sure that the people who come to get your the message of your mom or your dad, who's ever doing the shepherding, is getting it in a new and different way.
yes,
And
absolutely,
so you will probably find yourself even more connected to those people during this
exactly,
time, even after this time, because of the
yeah.
way you continued in the midst of the storm to provide that hope. That's
Amen.
amazing. Not many people are opening their doors. So I commend you and your family for keeping it going.
Well, we're doing it virtually. We're not, the church is not open to people coming in. We're
Okay, okay,
up
okay,
in the living room, broad
okay.
church service every week through Facebook Live and Instagram
I
Live.
got you.
Have full service with the sermon, and I do the sermonic selection, and an hour-long service on the church's Facebook page.
Okay, okay,
We go live every Sunday at 11:30 Eastern time. And so it's
okay.
such a blessing, because my mom has friends all over the country, and so many of them who, just as I mentioned, were not going to church regularly, not because it wasn't in their heart, they just weren't. And now some of them have been at church every week, because they can turn on Facebook or turn on Instagram and really get immersed in the word and get
Wow, wow.
their soul fed. So that's what's been the blessing. And then once COVID lightened up and the church opens back up, we're still going to continue to broadcast through these channels, the whole service, like we have been, because we've gained people all over the country who are now coming to church every week through their phone or their computer or whatever, and really being touched and moved by the Spirit. So God has been so good in this way, in broadening horizons that will continue to remain even after the pandemic is over.
Okay, I apologize. I misunderstood. So that's
Oh,
even better because that
yeah.
that shares a way that other people who may find the heart to do it, but they just don't know how to do it. To just be encouraged that just turn on the camera. Just go live. Well, that's a big one. So
That's
wow,
what go live.
congratulations for keeping it going. No matter how you guys did it, what I'm hearing you say is that you continued and you grew it, and God
Yes.
is using you to reach people who, if of course, even pre-COVID, if they were out of state, they couldn't come. But
Exactly.
now
Exactly.
look, and I think
Exactly.
that when COVID is over, I think we're going to be doing things a little bit differently than we used to do it anyway.
Absolutely, especially me. I mean, I was a bit of a germaphobe before COVID because people are just unfortunately not as clean and as they should be in this world. There's some folks who just yeah, and so I'll be in a mask in public places forever because COVID may peter out, but there may be another virus right around the bend, and it's just a way of protecting myself since you don't know who has what, who's asymptomatic. So I'll be in a mask, which is why I'm amassing quite a large collection of masks since I know
Okay.
I will need
Okay. And I'm
into
sure you're not alone in that, honestly, because,
every I will be on a plane and get
yeah.
as never because I always hated the fact of breathing air in this little small tin can and the air is just recycling into everybody and you don't know who has what. You have no clue what you breathe in, not a clue. And so that's always bothered me. And so now with this kind of just has validated something that's been in my spirit all along, so that when I'm on a plane from now on, there'll be a mask. And just to protect myself and anyone else in case I have something that I don't know I have.
Hmm.
Science ever changing. Anybody who knows anything about science knows that viruses, bacteria, think they change all the time. One
They do.
little alteration in the strand of RNA or DNA, and you have a totally new species, totally new specimen that might be resistant to whatever current methodologies are, and then they have to start from the drawing board and try to catch up to science again. And so, for me, any type of now, any public places where there's lots of people around me, I'll be in a mask, especially people I don't know.
And like I said, I'm sure you're not alone because
Yeah.
there's some family members I can think of and close friends who were already, like you said, heightened as it was, and now this is just giving
Right.
them a purpose to just take that to another level, a protective level. And
Exactly.
to me, I feel like there's nothing wrong with that because it's better to err on the side of caution.
Exactly. Amen.
Always is It's always better to do that. So
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay, so let's see. What are some of the things you do to inspire yourself and others? Well, I already know, but I'll let you tell it.
Well, I use my social media platform to try to inspire whenever I can. I've always been a person who's loved information. I've always been a person who's loved learning things and getting knowledge about various things and then passing that on. So I've always been inspired by that, and I try to pass it on and inspire by sharing it as it comes to me. And then again, everything goes back to my faith and to the, to worship and praise, which is also inspired and kept me inspired and helped me to inspire others. People who are close to me who know the very deep challenges that I have faced these last few years, and we're not talking a short time, we're talking several years worth of constant challenges, but yet because of the goodness of the Lord, hallelujah, I'm still me. I still have that smile that comes from deep down within that the world cannot take away. And there's nobody to thank for that but Jesus and Almighty God. And so that's the ultimate source of inspiration. And then good people. I'm so grateful to God for family and for great friends. And that's a blessing that God puts in our lives when you're blessed to have people that care about you, or be it biological or a family that you've created. It's such a blessing to share and to give and to support. Sometimes we need people to tell us, girl, you tripping, or girl, you may want to be rethink that. Have you thought about this? Sometimes we need people to kick it to us straight, even if we don't want to hear it. We may get mad at the time, but then when we have time to calm down, Lysandra really was looking out for me. I hated hearing it at the time, and I was mad as hell. But when we get on the right side of our right mind, these types of things are really the support that God provides. It's invaluable and it's wonderful. So, ladies, that's another thing I encourage you. Got to have a tribe. You have to have a support system. If you don't, then for 2021, you really should make that, one of your priorities in cultivating relationships. And relationships require cultivation. They don't just, manifest on their own. They don't stay successful and fruitful on their own. You must reach out. You must communicate. You must go back and forth and grow them just like any flower, any plant. It requires cultivation. So shore up your tribe, ladies. It's very
Hmm. It is. It's essential. It is.
yeah.
Okay, so have you yourself personally ever struggled with it, anxiety or depression?
As a teenager, I was in therapy and I mean, never was like clinically diagnosed with depression, but I think definitely, there was some depression back then as a teen. And then I think I struggled with a bout of postpartum as well because, I um, became a mom unexpectedly and put career on hold and everything. And so I guess some of those challenges brought about a depression since I was a stay-at-home mom after. And, it was kind of an abrupt transition from somebody who's worked and been busy all your life. And now here you are with this precious little thing in your home and it's just you and this precious little thing and nothing else going on. So, that took its toll for a minute. But, it was what really pulled me out of that was finding our sense of purpose. Sometimes as women, especially as moms, we tend to, and wives, we tend to like pour everything out of ourselves and put everything body first, and we completely give up everything and forget everything about ourselves. But children grow up and move out, and God forbid, relationships don't always make it. And so if you've given up all that you are and all that matters to you and all that really lights your fire, if you will, and just the thing that lights your eyes up, if you've given all that up to become a mom or to become a wife, then when that circumstance changes, what are you left with? And so then you have so many women, in depression and what they call empty nest syndrome because the kids are grown and gone and they have nothing to fulfill them now because they made their entire lives about being somebody's mom or someone's wife. And so while that is important and it's meaningful and all, it cannot be your all in all. And in many cases, it shouldn't even be your primary because if you're no good, then you're no good as a mom or a wife or anything else. So you have to take care of yourself first. You have to make sure that you're good. And then when you're good, then you can be an even better mom and a better wife, a better sister, a better friend, whatever the relationships are that are in your life.
Yeah, I mean, you are touching on some points today. And I will tell you that when my youngest finally did graduate high school, it was also the same year that I retired. And I had some pivotal things that I had to think about. And I put it in perspective of numbers. I said, I've been a mother in that role for 37 years. And that was my number one role. I had to learn who I was and what I
Mhm.
stood for, what I like to do. It was getting to know myself all over again and making myself a priority. And that
Mhm.
is something that we are touching on, but we could go deeper and a little bit about women of color. We are prone to be a little bit more self-sacrificing, I
Yeah.
personally feel,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it is in our DNA, it's in our history, it's in our makeup for a lot of reasons. So it comes natural to us to be self-sacrificing. But I like what you said, that not all these other outside relationships outside of self are guaranteed to always be there. More than likely, they will not always be there. And at the end of the day, you got to still be able to know who you are to be able to connect. So
Exactly.
yeah, you hit on some really important points that I find are going to be the gems of this video and many others moving forward, of why do we do that as women of color, and how we can get ourselves kind of up and out of it, or even plan ahead.
Yes.
Because I mean, there's young moms who are just starting, they don't
Exactly.
even realize they're doing it.
Right.
right?
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes, it doesn't hit you till you're at the end and you're like, well, I literally gave up my entire life and my entire career. And
Right.
so, yeah,
Exactly.
thank you for sharing that, because that was just like right on point. That's so important.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you find healing and balance? And how long did it take after you were going through your postpartum depression? I've heard stories, and I think the person I know personally who struggled from it, that I talked to, mentioned something for her, and I know it's different for everybody. I think it was something like 18 months. And
Mhm.
hers was like a very long time. And I think when I was younger, because I had my kids when I was really young, I really thought that that was something that kind of went away after 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. How long did it last for you, and how did you come out of it?
Well, actually, for me, it lasted a few years, I think. And that's because, as I mentioned, so abruptly giving up everything. And now I'm just a mom. And when I don't use the word just to minimize, how very important that role is, and all the, how valuable and how wonderful, that a mom who's doing her job properly is to the life that she's created. But I say that just in the terms of, to go from, being performing around the world, and, thousands of people in stadiums, and just, doing, living life and doing the things that you love. And now to abruptly be thrust into something else, and without any semblance left of that. So I think it's important. So it lasted longer than it may have needed to, because until I found a way to like start being me and having something else other than being my daughter's mom, to for fulfillment, because I knew I was more than that. As important as being her mom is, I was much much more. And so getting ways to perform and get going back to school and things like that helped me to, kind of get away the depression. Once you find something that really motivates your spirit and makes you happy, it really does help to, to push those types of feelings and emotions away.
Okay. Okay. So it was
Right.
reconnecting outside of yourself, finding
Exactly.
purpose. Okay. I got you.
Going
All
back
right.
to established
And what are
purpose.
some of your favorite healing modalities? Like, I know that you mentioned CBD. You're a big proponent of that, but do you drink any teas, or do you do like any meditation, or like what other healing modalities do you use?
Well, we use all kinds of forms of CBD. I drink CBD water, the nasal inhaler I mentioned before, gummy, even chocolate. I have face creams and sprays that, for my skin and stuff, CBD. So it has so many health benefits, and so I use it in so many different forms. Acupuncture, as I mentioned previously, I'm a firm believer in that for help and healing. I had a shoulder pain a couple of years ago that was relentless, and through acupuncture it completely disappeared, and I didn't need it,
Wow. Okay.
no other anything, and I didn't have to take any medicines or anything, and just going regularly every other week. And she targeted the area. It really made a big difference. So acupuncture, CBD. Um, let's see. Let me see any other healing
Do you
modality.
do walking? I think you do walking, don't
Yeah,
you?
I walk the dogs. So yeah,
Mhm.
so yeah, and then
Outside a little bit.
yes, and then we have a deck, and a deck out back. So we have a swing out there. So just going out there sometimes it's really beautiful, and just sitting out and communing with nature and singing to my singing, or listening to music. I find those things healing as well. Just finding things that make you happy. There's no greater healing than that, than finding things that really light your fire, if you will. And everyone should have that. So ladies, if you don't have things that really put that pep in your step, that really, your eyes light up every time you think about it or see it or hear it, then that for 2021 is another thing to be at the top of your list, finding things that really fulfill you and that really make you happy so that you can push ahead on them days when it's like you be ready to strangle everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. And for some women, that's going to be reconnecting to who they are so they can even find that out, because
Exactly.
we can call out, like our kids favorite this, our husband's favorite that, everybody else's favorite things that we feel that they like and enjoy, and we don't speak openly and freely or feel like we have permission to do it when it comes to ourselves. We need
Exactly.
to really be able to pamper ourselves. You're right.
Yeah. It's so important
Okay.
since so many people are, statistically as shown worldwide, so many people are in jobs. They're not in careers. They're not that doing things that really fulfill them, that really lighten their heart and soul, that they love doing. Many, many, many people sadly are in jobs that just because they have to make a living and they have to pay bills, but it does nothing for their spirit, nothing for their soul. So, and that's a majority of many people's lives is going to work. That's
Right. Right.
now
Right.
every is that. And when we think about that this many hours a week, a month, a year are on something that does nothing for me, that does not make me happy in any way, it becomes even more important for you to have those things that really light you up inside. So there must be a priority. Find those things, focus on those things, and make time for those things.
Beautifully said. I think you answered my next question as we're nearing the end of our little interview here. But I'll ask it anyway in case you want to give a different twist on it. It was to say, how do you define your belief system if you have one? That's a standard question, not just for you, because I know you have one. But, is there something you want to expound upon so you can really just let people know what your true belief system is?
My system basically, as I stated, is grounded in faith, grounded in, and because of that, being the absolute best that I can be at all times. And I really feel that that's what we should all strive for. If we strive to be our absolute best at any moment, what a world we would have. Now, of course, we're not always going to make it, but if that is the bar that we are striving for every time, if we don't make it, we still doing pretty darn good. So yeah, so my belief system is just to try to be your absolute best self in every way, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just be the best that you can be. And a culmination of all the things I mentioned earlier, keeping having a good tribe, a good support system. And yeah, that's
Okay. Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Miss Danette?
Well, I'm seeing that, and my mom is saying she's been getting some visions from the Lord. So I'm seeing myself on the worldwide stage with the platform that I've always dreamed of having, so that I can really make a profound difference in this world. Because I have some really, really big ideas that I've had for many, many years, which require, you know, worldwide, international renowned fame and all that comes with that in order to put these things in motion and make them happen. So in the next 5 years, I see myself further along that worldwide stage and just making this world a better place in a really profound way.
I absolutely know that is going to be true. It's impossible for someone with such grace and talent to be shelved. And you weren't blessed with those abilities to be shelved. So I stand in agreement with you, and I'm excited to be in your circle of communication so I can watch it and see it and share it and rejoice with you. It's coming. It's coming. So, okay. What last piece of advice would you give to the younger women of color? You did give quite a few beautiful nuggets throughout our little, interview here, but did you touch on everything that you really want to say as far as motivating and inspiring young women of color in the sense of wellness?
Um, ladies, I would say, especially you young ladies, I would say it's very important to find yourself a mentor. And we think of mentors only in terms of business or in terms of studying a subject, but I think a life mentor is so important. And that means, in many cases, it can mean someone who's older, someone who may have accomplished some of the things or all of the things that you want in your life, someone who exemplifies, what is that similar to you or something that you aspire to be. So I feel life mentors are crucial, and so many people never had one, don't had one, and you had to toddle along and stumble through life. But having a life mentor, someone who's wise, who has, some of the knowledge or resources that you need in your life to accomplish the things that you need, or to help and support you in some of the battles and challenges that you're facing. I Get yourself a life mentor, and one who, is worthy of that. So, choose carefully and wisely, based on what you've seen, based on your experience with that person. But yeah, life mentor is really, really, really important. I really believe in that wholeheartedly.
I couldn't agree with you more. I could not. All right. So, is there anything else you would like for us to know about you? This is your time to pitch that we didn't cover so far. You want to share?
Um, I just I'm just grateful and excited for all of the possibilities that await us all. And it's my prayer that we embrace those possibilities, and that we forge ahead through the challenges that will come. They're gonna come. Just get ready. Ain't no doubt about it. They're gonna be there constantly. So, so
You are so joyful.
sure
Do you
yourself.
have a little song that you can take us out with? I know you do. Come on and share that gift.
All right. So ladies, follow me on Instagram, Dazzling Danette. Where I can share and connect with you, and if I can provide some information, some encouragement, some inspiration, it's my pleasure, my honor, my privilege to do so. And this was the theme of the day in church today, so I'm gonna carry that on through. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I
You.
felt that. And I will share all your contact information and tag you. But of course, before we, make it public, I'll share it with you so we can be in agreement with it. And I look forward to connecting with you in the future so we can just tag team and rejoice as you move through your milestones and hit that 5-year mark, because I know you're going to do it in a phenomenal way. Thank you for taking the time out today. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook, I'm also on YouTube under Lysandra Yvette. This most likely will be posted there. So join us, connect with us, the dazzling Danette Sheppard-Vaughn. And we look forward to being of service to you individually or collectively. And as she mentioned before, find you a mentor, find you someone who has walked the walk, who also has demonstrated through their life that they're an achiever, they're an overcomer, they're one who stands firm behind what they say. They emanate the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Pick wisely and come alongside and learn and grow together. Tighten up your circle. We look forward to talking to you again in the future.